Hi everyone, this is the brand new project which I have created. I have just selected one compose activity, and one thing to note here is if you are coming from XML background that compose activity extend component activity, and this is the entry point set content. This is a composable function, and inside this we will add the main composable or main application. So if you just go to the declaration, you will find the parent composition reference. That means entire layout part or entire application screens part we need to declare here. Okay, so let's start. So we will just declare one package app. Inside this we can choose one Kotlin file, and let's say we are calling it as post office app. Okay, this is because we are in progress to make our messenger app, but in mid we are learning about Jetpack Compose, so I am naming the project here as well, post office application. We can create one function here, post office app, and this will be a composable. Inside this we can define one surface. Surface is basically a container. We can define one modifier here, dot fill max size. Okay, so that it will just cover the entire space. We are also going to add one color, and let's say we add color dot white. Now this composable will be the entry point and parent composable for our application. So we are going to take this and we are going to add this inside site content. Okay, so as we know that whenever we will come to this activity, this site content composition will be started, and here our entry point will be this post office app composable. This will contain all of the screens, entry point, and much more things. But before that, we need few screens, right? So to create screens, let's create one new package, screens. Okay, and we are going to create few composables here. So we are going to choose one file. Let's say sign up screen. Okay, this will be one function again, and this will be one composable function. Okay, sign up screen. So we have our sign up screen composable function. Inside this we will design the UI part for our sign up screen. This is our sign up screen, and it has few things. It has few text field and then one button and few text. So we can see that these text can be used as a common text composable. So we can create few composable, few component first before we start designing our composable, right? So for that we'll create one package composables, or let's say components. Okay, and inside this we will create some UI components which can be used across our project. So we are going to create one file and we will say components, or let's say app components. We will create one file. Okay, and inside this first composable we are going to create is one text. Okay, so we are going to create one composable function for that, and we will call it as normal text component. Okay, we can name it as we like, but we are going to call it as normal text component. And as we can see that our text component is just having one black color, and it can be used in both of these screens, here and here, right? And if we reduce the size also a little bit, we can use somewhere at the bottom as well, right? So let's try to create this composable. So this will be a text component, so we are going to use text composable. Okay, we'll pass the value directly to this component. So we are going to add one parameter, and we'll use this here in place of text. Now we need to modify this text little bit. It should be full screen width, or height should be minimum. So we can add those things with the help of modifier. Okay, So let's say we are going to add one modifier. This is coming out of Compose UI modifier, and this will be fill max width. Okay, we are going to use height in. So this is kind of wrap content, you can think it like that. So we are going to specify some minimum height. Okay, so let's say we are specifying 80 dp. So this will be kind of minimum height for this text view, but if the content is getting out of the range from this height, it will expand. Okay, so this is kind of wrap content, you can say, but we are specifying that text should have minimum 80 dp as height. Okay, now we can specify some text style. Okay, so we are going to use style, and it will be of text style. Inside this we can specify some font style and font weight kind of thing. So we are going to use font size first of all. So let's say our font size is 18 sp, and we are going to use one font weight which will be kind of normal we are going to use. But let's see our screen. So yeah, this is kind of normal, so we are going to use font weight normal. Okay, then we are going to use one font style also. This is kind of normal again, but we can change this later on based on our requirement to italic as well. Okay, we can set some shadow, but do we have any shadow? We don't have as of now. So this is one basic text. We can check this text with the help of sign up screen, but before that we need to add one surface. Okay, and we are going to specify again white color here as the parent background color. We'll also specify one modifier, and this will be again fill max size so that it can cover entire screen. And we are going to add one preview for this screen as well. It will be again one composable function, default preview of sign up screen. Okay, inside this preview we are going to add our sign up screen basically. Okay, and we have our preview in the right side. So now let's say inside our surface we are going to use this composable. So now you can see that we are defining components or composable independently inside this file, and later on wherever we want to use we can use. Okay, so we are going to use inside this sign up screen, and we have one hey there. This is the text we are going to use. So let's say we define one string in a string file. So the first one will be hello, and this is having text as hey there. Okay, we can use this string with the help of string resource, and we can pass the id. Okay, like this we can add. Okay, so our text is coming up so that we can be assured that our text component is working fine little bit. So I have the Figma opened with me, so we can check out all the design attributes here. So this text is having size of 24 sp, and this is the color. I have exported all of these colors here in colors.xml. So we have these color text, primary, secondary, and so on. So we are going to use these now. We can come back to our text composable. We can update the color here. Okay, so we are going to use this text color. Okay, it will be imported from our theme which we have here inside UI.theme. I have created one color file color.kt, and we have defined all of the colors which we have inside our color.xml. Okay, like this. So instead of defining it here and using it from this colors.kt, we could also use this directly with the help of this color resource. Okay, and we could pass r.color. And we could use this color which is color text. Okay, like this. So this will also work the same. Alright, So we can use any way which we want, but let's keep it like this for now. So now if we just go back to sign up screen, this text should have this color. Now we are going to give some padding, which we can find out from our Figma. So let's say we are trying to use one padding here inside our sign up screen. So we can add one padding with the help of modifier, and let's say we add 28 dp for all sides. Okay, so it should reflect. You notice this, the moment we add padding here, the color is coming after that padding, right? So for that, what we can do is we can just come to our modifier, we can add one background here, we can take this color and add inside background. We can remove it from here, and then we can see that our entire layout is having this color white, and then we have the padding as well. Okay, now if we notice our layout, this text should be in center. Like if we use this text here or at the bottom, everywhere this is centered align, right? So we can just go back to our text, we can add text align and then text align dot center. Okay, now if we just look at our design, we can see that we have this heading text. Okay, so the difference are only two. If we just check in Figma, we can see that it is bold and the text size is increased to 30. Okay, so we have two options now. Either we can pass this text size and this style inside this as a parameter, or we could create one brand new composable for this. So I'm going to show you both of these way. First and easiest way is we create one new component and we call that component as heading text component. Okay, we just update this to 30 and we make it font weight as bold. Okay, and then if we just try to use this inside sign up screen, okay, we are going to pass text as create an account. So we are going to define one string for this, create account, and we are going to use this string. Okay, another string we have is welcome back. Okay, case sensitive, fine. So we have this string now. We can define with the help of a string resource r dot string dot create account. Okay, but if we see we have some invalid input kind of thing, that's because we have one parent container. Now we need one view group to arrange our children in one given order, right? So as we have all of the items inside this vertical fashion, we can use one column composable, okay, like this, and we can just specify one modifier dot fill max size, and that's it. And we can just take these children's and add inside our column composable. Okay, so like this we have our surface, then we have one parent column composable, and inside this we have these two children. Okay, now you can see that once we added one column composable, so both of our texts are showing up. But if we see the layout, there is not so much height and difference between these two texts. So if we just go to Figma and check, is there any specific height given for this? So minimum height, I think they are using 40 dp, so we are going to use the same for our normal text, let's say 40 dp. Okay, and for this we don't give any height. Okay, so one another thing to note here is this text is having 24 as the size and this one is having 30. Okay, so let's just add this as well, 24, and then we have 30. Okay, and in our normal text I am using one minimum height, but inside our heading text I am not using any given height. Okay, and now if we just take a look, it is looking little bit like this, only the text font is different, but for now we are going to go ahead with these default font itself. Now for these text input field we are going to create one new composable. Okay, and let's call it my text field. Okay, and we'll create one composable with the help of outline text field. Okay, now we need few things for this. Okay, so first of all we need one value, so we can use one text value variable, and we can initialize it with the help of mutable state. Initially the value will be empty, and we can use remember block to store this value. Compose will take care of this value, like last value compose will remember with the help of this function. If you go inside this, so it is saying remember the value produced previously, and then whenever recomposition will happen it will remember the previous value. That means if user enters something here, like first name, user enters some name Harry, then they enter some other thing, so the last value will be remembered with the help of this remember function. Okay, so we are going to use this in place of value, and inside on value change we are going to update this value like this with it. Okay, so it will update once we add all the other things here. So let's say we are going to use one label. Okay, and this label will be of type text. Okay, so we are going to use from our string, so we are going to use string resource, or let's say we define one value label value, we will pass directly from the place where we will use this. Okay, so we have defined this, then we have our value, we have our own value change. Now we are also going to use colors, and here we'll use text field defaults. Okay, and outline text field color basically, and inside this we will specify few colors used by this outline text field. So inside this we are going to use some color for the outlining, so we are going to use focused border color, which will be our color resource r dot color dot primary. We can also use directly primary color because we have defined inside color dot kt, and this color will be imported here. Okay, like this we can use. Then we are going to use focused label color also as primary, and we are going to use cursor color also as primary. Okay, now we are going to define some keyword options, and we are going to use default option itself. So we will write keyword option dot default. Okay, so we need to add one curly braces, one lambda basically for this text, and our outline text field is ready. So this is our text field component, and we have one text value with the help of mutable state. We are using that as the default value, and whenever our value change, so this function will be triggered on value change. Inside this we are updating the value of our mutable state as well. Okay, we are having this primary color as the focused border and label and cursor, default for keyboard options, and that's it. This is our text field component. Okay, now we are going to use this component inside our sign up screen. So our layout is like this. So let's add this my text field component. Okay, and our label value we can use with the help of a string resource first name. Okay, so we can see that it's reflecting inside our screen, but we need to just have a look on our design. Alright, so it should be of full width, right? So first of all we need to go inside this, we need to add one modifier here, and we will say modifier dot fill max width. Okay, so our width is ready. If we notice there is some background color as well, so we can add one background color, and I have added this as BG color. This is basically one grayish kind of color, not exactly gray, and I am not making this as rounded and border because we are already using this outline text field, so that this will be one rounded text field. We can use border, like if I want to use the border thing, we could use like this, we could use one border stroke and shape, but it will not look good because we will have two borders. So there will be two borders, right? So that's why I am not using this as of now, but I am just going to use one shape, or I can use one clip thing with the help of our component shapes dot small. Basically I have defined few shapes here inside this, so we are going to use this 4dp. Now I will rebuild this again, so that we will just have our outline filled but little bit cornered radius. We can increase if we want, but now the main difference we have is we need to add one icon. So the first thing will come to our text field. We will add leading icon, this one, and this will be with the help of icon. And painter is basically kind of resource we need to pass, like something from driver, so we can just use painter resource and we can pass the id driver dot profile. Okay, so this is the way we can add one icon. Like we need to use this leading attribute, leading icon, and then we need to add one image with the help of icon, and we are passing the resource which is this image. Okay, and content description we can pass empty for now. Okay, so we can just see that our icon is reflecting here. Now we can see there is one difference in this heading and the text field, so we can add one spacer here. Okay, basically this we can use to add some empty space, and we can just use modifier dot height. Okay, we can pass the space we want here, so let's say we add maybe 20 dp. Okay, and let's refresh. Okay, so the moment we added the spacer, we can see there is some space between these things. Now we can use another text field component, and we can pass string as last name. Okay, we can use one more text field, and we can pass name as email. Okay, right? So for this email we need to pass some different icon, right? So basically we can pass this value directly from the sign up screen. Okay, so we can add this as a parameter to our text component. Okay, so one painter resource we have added as the parameter, and we can use this painter resource directly here. Okay, whatever we are passing we can directly use in the icon, and from here we can pass profile for this and first name and last name, and for email we can pass email, or we have message as the icon. Okay, so now our screen is looking like this. We have three text field, and we are passing the label and value for label, and we are also passing the image we want. So directly we are passing from here, and then inside our outline text field we are getting these two parameters for label and for icon, and we are using label directly with the help of text, and we are using icon with the help of leading icon. Okay, and our screen is looking like this now. So now if we just open this layout and we look at our screen, it's little bit similar, but we need one password as well. So for that we can just come back again, we can add one more text field. Okay, and for this we can add password. We don't have a string, so we can just define one. Okay, and for the icon I can pass this lock. Okay, and if we just check out our design, so our design is looking like this. So this password text field will be little bit different from all of the other text field. Basically we need to add this toggle functionality here with this I symbol. So for this let's create one new field, and we will call it as password text field component. Okay, now let's refactor this. So basically this value will be password, so we can use this here, password value. Okay, and we need to do one new variable declaration that will be of a variable called password visible, and we are going to use one mutable state, and initial value will be false, that password is not visible. Okay, now for these keyboard options we need to remove, and we need to add keyword type, and we need to add keyword type as password. So this will show keyword as we are going to enter password basically. Now we need to add one trailing icon as well, and inside this trailing icon, first of all, let's use one variable icon image. Okay, and if password is visible, okay, we have defined this at the top, right? So we are using the same if password is visible, and we will use this icon, this eye icon from material compose icon itself, and for that we need to add one dependency. Okay, and that will be of compose material icon extended. We are going to use same compose UI version. Okay, so we are using this library materials icon extended, and we are using the same compose version. Basically this library will provide us few material icons from the compose itself, and we can use those inside our project. And now we can use one icon here with the help of icons dot filled, and we can use this visibility. So this icon basically will have some vector image. We'll see this shortly inside our UI. And if our password is not visible, so we are going to use icons.fill.visibility off. Okay, we can use one variable for description also for this image icon, and we can use same if password visible dot value password is shown, we can just write hide password, else we can just write show password. Okay, we can again use this from a string resource. So let me just add this inside one string hide password, and I will add this value. I will add one for show password. Okay, and here also I will use one string resource with the help of show password. Okay, this is our description. Now we need to add one icon button. So inside on click, what we will do, we will just take this password visible value, and we will just assign the opposite value, exact opposite. So if it was showing up, like password was showing up, so it will hide, and if it was hiding, so password will show up. Okay, then we will add one icon here. Okay, and inside this icon we'll just pass the image icon image, and for content description we'll just use the description. Then we will add one visual transformation. Okay, so for that we'll just check that if password visible dot value, then we will just say visual transformation dot none, else we will just add password visual transformation. Okay, this one. Alright, that's it. We can use this now inside our application. So everything will be same, so we can just add it here itself. And now if we run our application, okay, so this is our application as of now. We can enter few things. We can enter the name, we can just take it out here, we can enter the last name, we can enter some email, okay, and we can enter the password. So if I enter 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, and if I try to toggle this, it will be visible. Okay, we can hide it again, and we can see the password as well. Okay, now let's get back to our layout image. So we can see that we have one checkbox kind of thing, and we have some text. Okay, for this let's start designing one component. So we will write one composable function, and we will write this as checkbox component. Okay, and inside this we will also pass the value we want to add basically inside the text. Okay, so as we can see that this checkbox component will need one checkbox and then some text as well, and this is in horizontal orientation, so we can use one row, and that row will contain one checkbox and one text. Okay, so here we'll use one row composable, and inside this we will use one modifier. Okay, and we will first of all use max width, okay, and then we'll give one height. So we'll give one minimum height, let's say 56 dp. Let me just take it to the next line. We'll also pass one vertical alignment, okay, so that everything stays in the center. We'll use with alignment dot center vertically. Then we'll also add some padding. So we'll add the padding in modifier itself. Let's say we add padding as 16 dp. Then inside our row composable, we need to add one checkbox. So we'll use this checkbox. Now checkbox can be changed and we can either check it or uncheck it. So for that we will store the current state in one variable called checked state. Okay, this will be inside remember block, so that our Jetpack Compose can remember the previously basically whenever the user is clicking on the checkbox, mutable change the value and initial value will exact be false. Opposite, okay, this will be current checked boolean state. Okay. But explicitly we no need to define these things, so we can remove it from here. Okay, we have our checked state. Now inside checked we will use this checked state dot value. For this we can also take our normal text. So if I just take the normal text, right, let's try to use this, and then we will just add the value which we are getting inside this as a parameter. Now let's try to use this inside our sign up screen, and for the value let me just take this from our Figma. If somehow I can take this text, okay, we can take. So let me just define one string resource, and I will just name it as terms and conditions, and I will define this string. Okay, and then let me just rebuild and let's see the design. Okay, so it's reflecting but it's in very weird shape. So first of all we need to reduce this size. Okay, so if we just check out our Figma, so we will get to know the size and all. So this is using 15 sp as the text size, so we can reduce the size and all. But I think if we just look at the layout carefully again, we can see that there are some text part which is clickable. So I will say that we design one new text component for this, so we can just come back again. So let's write one new composable. We will write this function as clickable text component. Okay, this will also take one value and a string, and inside this we need to make one spannable string inside this component. Now we have two options: either we take simple normal text component and we use modifier.clickable, or we can use clickable text. Okay, this is also one inbuilt Jetpack Compose component. Now as we know that some part of our text will be clickable, so we can use one annotated string. It's kind of spannable text. Okay, for that we can use one variable annotated string. We can use one string builder but for annotated type, right? So inside this we can append different text with different style in a final string. Okay, so our text will be divided in few part. The first part will be by continuing you accept our till this part. Okay, so we will just write one string and this will be the initial part. Then we will have this privacy policy, right? So we will define one new part. Then we will have the last part and terms of use. So we'll use this and text as well here. This will be and then we will use terms and condition text, and this we will use this one terms of use. So we have these different parts of text. Now we can use inside our annotated string. First we will just append the initial text. Okay, this is the normal style we have, and then for our privacy policy text we can use with style, and in a style we can basically use span style, and we can pass some basic color here. Let's say we pass color primary, right? So we can directly use primary color. Okay, and for tag and annotation we can just pass the same privacy policy text, and for annotation also we can just pass privacy policy text, and we can append this string. now. Okay, so we have added these two part. Now we can add this, as this is the normal part, so we can just add and text, and then for our terms and condition we can just use the same style and we can just append this terms and condition text. Okay, we have our annotated string ready. Now we can use this annotated string in place of text. Okay, and now inside on click we will get the offset. Okay, so now when we click on this entire string we will get the offset. So we can use this offset to find out the span we have clicked, right? I will show you how we will use this. So we can just use annotated string dot get string annotations. Okay, and inside this we can pass this offset for start and end, and then we can just check, are we getting this offset really? So we can just use first or null. So it will give if there is one valid span click, and we will add the Elvis operator. Then inside this we will just check that are we really getting one span from this annotated string, and let me just print this for now. We will see what we are going to do with this. So let me just add this as a tag for now. So this will return us one span. We can just use this span in place of it, and let me just try to use this span. Okay, we'll see what we are getting when we click any item inside our text. Now we have our clickable text component ready. We have defined few text and we have added one annotated string with styles. Then we are just trying to add that string inside our clickable text, and we are trying to find out which part of the string we have clicked. Okay, we have added this log, so we can just go inside checkbox component, and we have our checkbox already there. We can add this here. Okay, we can pass the value which we are getting as a parameter. Okay, now we are already using this inside our sign up screen, so we are passing the value of a string, and then inside our checkbox component we are using the clickable text component which we just designed, and we are passing the string. Now let's run our application, and then we will see how our UI is looking and what we are getting when we are clicking on the string. So right now this is our UI, and you can see that we have some highlighted text for these two values. Okay, but this is not taking the full screen, I think. So for that, let me just refactor a little bit, and for our checkbox I think we are using some padding inside row modifier. We can remove this because we have already one surrounding padding here. So if we just check out inside our right side design, so it is taking the entire space and it is coming like this. There is no space here, so we can add some space. We can just form the string basically. So we have added some space at the starting and ending position for this. So there will be some space after this, and then there will be some space before this, right? Okay, so we can just check that now it's looking better, and it is showing some space here wherever we want it, and we have some clickable style as well. So let me just run this and we will see. So inside our locate I have added the tag we have added inside our component. Now we can just try to see our emulator. Okay, this is the emulator we have right now, and if I try to click here, so we are getting the item here, privacy policy. This item is clicked. If I click on this terms of use, so you will see that it is giving us the item terms of use. If I click anywhere in the first item, it will not give us any value because these things are normally added and not added as a annotation here. Okay, this way we can use annotated string, and this is very helpful because if you just want to click on any specific item and want to get notified, like if you are clicking on this privacy policy, you will be able to find out that we have clicked on this specific portion, and then we can perform any action. And inside this we can check that if our span dot item is clicked, so we can show some other screens for terms and condition. Let me just design one new screen, okay, so that we will have few other screens and we will see how we can use this. So let me just comment it out for now, and we are designing one new screen, so we'll write this as terms and conditions screen. Okay, this will be again a file, and we will create one composable function. We can use the same name, terms and condition screen. Okay, and inside this we can design anything, but for now we are just going to use one surface, and we can use modifier dot fill max size. For now we'll use one background color. We will use color dot white, this color. So we have our modifier till here. Okay, then we can use something like, if we want to use any padding or any such thing, we can add that as well. So let's add 16 dp for now. Okay, then inside this we can add one normal text component we have. Okay, or let's say we can add one heading text component for now, and we can pass the value from string resource, and we can add one string terms and condition. Okay, we can import this resource, we can add one string terms and condition. Okay, we have already, okay, this is the main detail. So we can add one terms and condition header or something like that, and we can just say terms of use. So later on we can add few other things for description inside this screen, but for now we are going to add like this. We can add one preview as well. So you are already familiar how we can add one preview. With preview composable, we can add one function. We can just take the same screen name and we can write preview for this screen. We can use this parent composable here and we are good to go. Okay, we have something like this. Now we can close everything and we can come inside our router. We have one another screen, so we can define here terms and condition screen. This will again be of type screen. Now as we have multiple screens, we should have one method, so that if we want to go from one screen to another screen, we can just use that method, right? So we can define one function navigate to, and we will just pass one destination, basically one destination screen where we want to go, and inside this method we can update the value of the current screen. So we can just take this current screen dot value and we can update with destination, so that whatever destination we pass inside this method, that will become the current screen. Now we need to add this inside our application class as well, is screen dot terms and condition. Then we will just show up inside terms and condition screens. Okay, now we have added both of the screen inside our application as well and inside our router as well. This router is basically for navigations. Now we can use this method from anywhere. Okay, now whenever we get this condition that clicked text is terms and condition text, so we can pass one callback with one high order function, and using lambda we can pass this back to the place where we are using this, right? So we will get some callback here only. Okay, so to do that we need to add one method, let's say on text selected. Okay, and we will pass the value span dot item, like what text we have selected. Then we need to add this as a unit here. Okay, on text selected, and we are returning some value as well of type string, and then this will be of type unit. Okay, so you can just see that we are returning it like this. But as our clickable text component is getting used inside checkbox component, so we will add one parameter here as well, same parameter basically, and we will use this here. Okay, and now if you see, we are just reverting whatever the value we are getting with the help of this unit high order function. Basically we are passing this text to its parent origin where we are using this component. We are using it here inside checkbox component, and then we are using it here. Okay, so now if you see, we have one error and it is showing that no value passed for this parameter. Okay, and this we will just use on text selected, and let me just take it in the next line. Okay, like this. So now if you just take a look, our checkbox component has one value string and this high order function, and this is just coming inside this, and when the values are matching, we are just passing a callback with this item selected. Okay, so we can just do here some conditional check, like if text is matching or not. So for now we are only passing it for this terms and condition text, which is terms of use. So whenever user will click here, we will pass this callback. So let's say for privacy policy also we want to pass the same thing. So we can just add one another check, or span item equals privacy policy text. So if either this condition is true or this condition is true, we will just pass this callback and we will come here. Now we need to add one router here, right? So for that we can use router dot navigate to, and we can use this screen dot terms and condition. Okay, so let me just run our application and let's see how our application is looking as of now. Okay, so we have this screen and we have this privacy policy text and stuff. Okay, so this is the application as of now. We have this, and if we click on this privacy policy or term of use, it will go to the next screen. So let me click here and see, we can come here, right? If we just press back button, it is going out of the application. For this we need to add back handler. Basically I will show you how we can add that. So for handling back navigation, we will create one file, back button handler. Okay, and inside this, first thing we will add is local backpress dispatcher. Okay, so if we go to the declaration, this is basically one class where we can register backpressed callback. Okay, so now for this dispatcher we need the callback, we need this on backpressed callback. So for that we will add this code. So we are having one navigation handler. Okay, and inside this we are just implementing on backpressed callback. This is the same callback which we was adding inside dispatchers. Okay, and for this backpressed callback we can pass this enabled or not. So we are just adding this as a parameter. So if you have used normal XML and activity, we used to have this on backpressed method, right? Overrided. So it is kind of similar thing, but little bit more compose friendly. So from the latest Android releases, we are doing it this way because on backpress method is deprecated. And now as we have our dispatcher and our callback, for on backpressed callback, we can add this. So if I explain you this code, we are using here the concept like we will add some composable inside these handlers, and then once we go back to the previous composable, we will just dispose that current handler. Okay, so understand it like this. We have our sign up screen and terms and condition screen inside the handlers. When we go back to sign up screen, right, we can just dispose this terms and condition screen from handler. Okay, you can just use this for now, and I will explain you more about this in upcoming videos. Okay, so this is the method which we can use now inside our sign up screen or inside any screen where we want to add this back handler capability. So now we can add this system back button handler inside our terms and condition. Okay, so we can just minimize everything, and under surface we can add this. Okay, and inside this we can specify where we want to go. So we can use our app router dot navigate to. We can add the parent screen with the help of screen dot sign up screen. Okay, so if we run our application now and we press the system back button, we will just come back to the previous screen. Okay, so right now if you see, if I click on this terms of use and we come to this new screen, and if I click back, we will come back to the previous screen. If we again click on this, we can again come back to the previous screen. Okay, now we need to design one component for this button, and we can use that component for this register and this login button. Okay, so we will come back to app component. We will define one composable. We will call it as button component. Okay, and this will take one value for the text which we want to show here, register or login, and inside this we will use this button composable. We will add the on click later on, but for now we are going to add one modifier in this. Okay, and we will just take fill max width to take the entire width, and we will also take minimum height. Let's say we are taking 48 dp. Okay, then we will add content padding, and we will just use padding value so that we can take default values. And then we are going to add this colors. Basically we are going to add one transparent color. Okay, we will explain you why we are adding transparent color for this button. Basically inside this button we are going to use one box, and box is exactly like frame layout, and we will make gradient inside this box. Okay, so first of all we will take this modifier, which will be like we need height and width exactly similar to this button. And for gradient we will use this background, and we will use brush API. Okay, with brush we can use horizontal or linear gradient. We are going to use horizontal, and we will pass a array of colors. Okay, we will pass secondary color, and then we will pass primary color. Okay, we will also add one shape. Okay, so we'll use rounded corner shape, and we will pass 50 dp for this corner radius. Okay, then we will use content alignment to keep all of the text and its children in center. We will use alignment dot center, this one. Inside this we are going to add one text. Okay, so we'll just use value as the text value here, and we will just use font size here, and let's say we are using 18 sp. We will use font weight, and we will use font weight dot bold. Okay, so now our button component is ready. Okay, now we need to add this inside our sign up screen. So I will just add it here, and inside this we have one value we need to pass, and I have already added strings for register and login, so we can just add one string resource r dot string dot register. Okay, and now we can try to run our application. So we will see that we have one button component. Okay, so basically inside our button component we have one button composable, then we have one box, and box is having this shape and this gradient, and then we have one text for this register string. Okay, now we need some space here in between this privacy policy terms and condition text and this register button. So we can add one spacer, and we can specify some 80 dp height in between of these two. Okay, so this spacer will take space, and it will reflect like this. Okay, this is our design. Okay, so for this divider we are going to use one row component, and inside that we will either use some spacer or divider, then one text, one divider again. Okay, so inside this we will use row composable, and we will use one modifier with fill max width. Okay, and inside our row we will use one divider. Okay, this is basically for divider lines and all, and inside this we are going to write one modifier. Okay, this will just take fill max width, and we will specify weight. Okay, we will specify weight as 1, and we are going to specify one color. So let's say we are taking from our color, we are going to use this gray color. Okay, so let's use gray color, and we will give one thickness, how much thick line we need. So let's say 1 dp. Okay, so we are going to take this once again so that two dividers are there, and we will just take one normal text composable, and we will pass value as or this one, and let's say we specify font size little bit, and let's say we are writing 14 sp. Okay, and let's say we specify one font color as well, and we can just give here text color. Okay, so we have already added this inside sign up screen. Okay, so it should reflect, so we can see that one divider is coming. Okay, but these things are not aligned. So inside our row we are going to add vertical alignment, and we will use alignment dot center vertically. Okay, and our application will look now like this. So everything is vertically aligned. But inside our text, let's increase this size and all. Let's make it to 18. Let's extract this to one string resource. Okay, and let me just take this to next line. We will add one modifier as well. Inside our text, we will add one modifier as well. Dot padding, and let's say we are writing padding as 8 dp. Okay, now it will look much better, so that there will be some space in between. So now our emulator is like this, there is some space as well. We can reduce this height little bit for now. Okay, so I have reduced this spacer height, which was the difference in these two components. So now it's looking like this. Okay, now we need one text, and this is again going to be one annotated string which will have login eventually. Okay, so we can just quickly use the previous component we have. Okay, so we have this clickable text component, and inside this we have few predefined things, right? So we can just take this for now. We can create one another component. So we can create something like clickable login text component. Okay, so we are not going to use any value because we will just define it here itself. So initial text is going to be this one, already have an account login. So let me just define this in a string. Let's say go to login, and we need to use this text already have an account like this much. This is our initial text. Then we have our login text. Okay, this is going to be our login text, which is login actually. Okay, so now we are using this annotated string method. We are going to just normally use this initial text. Then we have this login text. We can specify in tag and annotation, and we can append this. We can remove these things, and then our string will be ready. And inside our clickable text, we are just going to use if the clicked portion is login text. Okay, so we will just, and inside this clickable part we are just going to use if span item is equal to login text, then we will just pass this on text selected method. Okay, which is this eventually. Now let's try to use this and add inside our sign up screen. So inside this, only this method we need to use, but for now let's try to run this. So we have this text here. So one interesting thing here to notice, this style is different, right? This text style is like this, like our normal text component, right? So we can just take the style from our normal text component. This is the style we have, right? We have some modifier for height and all. Then we have some style. So we can take these value. Okay, we can come inside our clickable text and we can add these values. Okay, so only color thing we need to remove, because already our color and all we have used inside our span style here. So now let's try to run our application. Will it affect or not? Basically we have taken the style from here, from our normal text, and it is actually working. Okay, so this text is 24 sp and this is having some reduced size, I guess. This is 21. Yeah, so we can reduce this size 21. Okay, it's reflected. Now we need to take this in center, right? So inside text style we have one option text align, and we can use text align dot center. Okay, and now let's run our application. So it should come in center. Yeah. Okay, so we can see that this is our layout as of now, and this is the implementation which we have done. Okay, and it is looking pretty close, right? We will implement this Google and Facebook login as well inside our next videos. Okay, now we need to implement this login part. So I will show you this in next video because this current video is already close to 1 hour. So I will just wrap this video here, and for this I will share one another video. So stay tuned.